We are muted. All right, Miguel, welcome to Rebel Ants Radio. We are here, change of agenda. We're working on a Friday here instead of our normal Sunday. We got 2 to 3 people watching, and I wonder why they're not doing something better instead, but happy to have them with us. Miguel, how are you today?
I'm good, man. What happened? You were muted.
I don't want to talk about it. A little technical error, but we're okay. If this is your first time watching or listening, this is Rebel Ants Radio. This is our Build in Public platform where we are launching an NFT project, a multimedia company, multiple projects. And we're just kind of here to show you all how we're doing it and what we've learned, some mistakes we've made along the way. And so if you're into that sort of thing, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, tell a friend, buy an NFT, support the cause. And you can head over to rebelants.io to pick up a Jeremy, to pick up a Rebel Ants, and soon to be a Rebel Ants V2 Battle for the Colony. Miguel, what did I miss?
I don't think you missed anything. Oh, you weren't muted. That's good.
Yeah, that was pretty good. It's like the first time we're doing this.
Hey, so this is the first time that we go live with the new intro. I liked it. I actually liked the music. It wasn't bad. Yeah.
It's like twice as long as the first one, so maybe we need to speed it up a little bit, but
Yeah,
maybe it builds like some good anticipation. Love to hear in the comments what you thought about the intro video. If you missed it, you'll have to rewatch this episode. Give us another watch on YouTube.
It's kind of growing on me, the music.
Right. Good. We have a special guest joining us today. We got Aaron, who's been on the show before when it was specifically about the Sky City NFT project. But today we're going to get to just talk about him, his story, his projects. So excited to bring him on here in a minute. But do you want to give us any updates on the Jermies?
Yeah, we're going to release 5 more Jermies today at some point. But this time it's going to be for 0.005 ETH. These are going to be numbers 6 through 10. We're probably going to release them right after the show. So stay tuned for that. You'll see them come up.
Yep. And you can head over to rebelants.io, scroll down to the Jeremy section, and you'll be able to head over, view all the Jermies. There's still some available for free. And then we'll have some of these newer ones being released that are for 0.005, which is pretty good value right now. You're going to want those as kickers for our future V2 project where you'll be rewarded for holding those Jermies. So,
and not only that, but there's only going to be 20 of them.
Ever.
Unless
you burn one, then maybe less.
That's true.
All right, we ready for Aaron?
I'm ready. Let's bring him on.
Aaron, welcome back to Rebel Ants Radio. How are you today?
What's up, guys? Doing well.
Listen, I got to ask a question, and I don't mean to be insensitive, but is there a correlation between submarines and Bitcoin price going up?
Oh, a lot of submarine action, lately?
Yeah. So,
it's got to be. I don't know. Maybe someone's wallet got drained, or so, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you got millionaires and billionaires. They must have been holding some coin that may now
had to be
not be available ever again.
So what happens in that circumstance? It just because it still exists, right? It's just like a wallet that can't be accessed or something.
Frozen.
It's just,
frozen.
It's like there's a hard drive in a garage, garbage fill somewhere filled with millions of Bitcoin too, I'm sure.
Oh, dang. But then
you know what it is?
The stepson too. Maybe he had the keys.
Yes, exactly. Right. He's the key holder.
It's very possible. Yeah. You know what it is too? That a lot of institutions right now are trying to get into ETFs. So all this news is creating some emotion, some movement out there. So I think that it's good for the community. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I heard China, Russia, or something starting to open up there, be more open-minded of Bitcoin and all that other crypto stuff.
I think those institutions are starting to see the potential.
Yeah. I mean, look, the more the better, I think.
So hopefully we're early still, but who knows at this point? The market feels kind of crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. It feels weird to still be early 10 years later, right? Being in this for 10 years and being in the crypto space, but we're still early.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah, I used to think of, Fuocious and stuff, how he blew up or whatever. And then in 2017 or something, he would speak on those days or whatever, being no one, and people would buy 1 or 2 of his pieces. But then you know what I mean? He had to just work through the silence, and then eventually you blow up, you know what I mean? So, hopefully we're in that silent period that's bound to blow up, but we never know, at this point. I don't know.
It's true. We got to wait and see, and hopefully our convictions pay off,
Yeah, stay optimistic, I guess. That's all you can do.
So, Aaron, I wanted to bring you back to the show because you are an artist, first of all, right?
Yeah.
So we wanted to learn more about you. We wanted to learn how you learn how to do your art, what platforms you use for your art, how you came into Mellow Park and how you created that. I don't think many people out there know that you are the creator behind Mellow Park, who is pretty successful on OpenSeas, who's been pretty successful with a lot of owners. So I want you to kind of dive into that a little bit and about yourself, how you came into art. Did you go to art school? All that kind of good stuff. So let's talk about it.
Wait, Miguel, can we do a little icebreaker first?
Sure.
The submarine wasn't the icebreaker.
Oh, no. That didn't necessarily hit icebreaker.
No. All right. So the icebreaker is, which living person would you want to have dinner with? So, Miguel, I'll throw it over to you first.
Elon.
Elon? I knew you were going to say that.
100% Elon.
What about you, Aaron?
Yeah, this might be like cringy or something, but probably like the artist like Cause or something. Just because of like, I don't know, just seeing his paintings up close and just like trying to like pick his brain about certain like painting techniques and certain like marketing tactics that he's done.
Yeah.
Like, certain connections, but yeah, probably like Cause the artist.
I like it.
Which will happen, I know who to get
to. It can happen. It can happen. You just got to put it out there, and now hopefully maybe they see this.
Yeah, no, for sure, it'll be this interview that I said about. Same with Elon.
I would choose, a little cliche, but I think I would choose the lead singer of my favorite band, Eddie Vedder of Pearl Jam. But maybe in response to Miguel's Elon, I would choose Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
And then we could just like watch them fight on the spot.
One-on-one.
We can have dinner together and watch them.
Who do you guys have your money on?
I think I got to go Mark. He's already an MMA
trained,
fighter.
Right?
Nah, I don't think so. I'll go Elon on this.
Yeah,
Elon's much bigger.
Elon too, even.
He is bigger.
Because I bet you even if he lost, he would lose like a champ.
That's true.
Elon, you know what I mean? And like Mark Zuckerberg would be all salty or like, some type of excuse or I don't know.
Yeah.
He'll cut the stream or something, you know what I mean?
That's
so
right.
Like, no one could see the KO.
Yeah, take the satellite down.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron, let's dive into your story. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, so art stuff. Yeah. So I started drawing like at the end of high school and painting. So like 17 years old or so. Right now I'm like 27. And so it's been like 10 years in the making. And it was just basically I just didn't really have the confidence, I guess, to draw or to put my ideas out there. I had some cousins who were like really good at drawing, in my opinion, and felt like I don't know, I couldn't get on their level, so I just kept the ideas in my head. So it's like I try to encourage people if they do have ideas, even if not going to share them with no one, to just get them on paper, get them on the computer, do whatever, just so you could see your ideas and so they could exist, which I didn't do till I was 17 years old. So after that, it was like I had all this like creative like energy kind of stuck in me, and it's been like a daily thing every day, like working on something creative every day and just getting my ideas out there, whether it's like painting or like screen printing or drawing or just like sketching out some notes or even like digital art. That's been like the majority of work lately. Animation, just collaborating with people too, and just speaking on ideas and just like sculpture work or whatever. Like I don't think you should limit yourself to just one field. I don't think but yeah, so I don't know. So that just like made me open-minded once I started drawing. That was like the first art class I really took was like at the end of high school, which is kind of weird. So after that, So then I would spend all my days prior to that just skating every day. And then I really wanted to have like a skate company, like a brand. So I started painting on my boards, just like not even like thinking of it in the artistic way. Just wanted like to incorporate skating somehow. And then that got me into painting more and like doing stencils and stuff and like trying to mass produce stuff, on my own, and then learning how to screen print on boards and stuff. So in order to learn screen printing, I like worked at a shop, because they didn't have that at the like community college I was going to. So I was just like finding all these ways to just kind of like work creatively and get the ideas out there. And it was just kind of like taking it day by day and just trying to progress and just trying to really figure out ways like people even like monetize their art, you know what I mean? Or just like make a living or just like do what you want to do, really.
Right.
And So I felt like I really needed to get to Los Angeles, originally from like the Central Coast of California. So it's like 3 hours north of LA. And so the way I got to LA was going to art school and just like getting in a bunch of debt and stuff. And yeah, just kind of like, just taking it, you know what I mean? And so, so I moved out here and I'm still here, luckily. It's just like figuring out how to stay here, you know? And a lot of opportunities kind of opened up and like some networking stuff, you know, making good friends and that type of thing. So I don't know. So that was at Otis College, and they got a really cool program and stuff, and they do a lot of cool things, you know, like even like toy design or like architecture, fashion design, product design, digital media, like animation, that type of thing.
Nice.
And where I studied, it was in communication arts with like emphasis on illustration.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I don't know, it was interesting. So it's like, as I like kind of spent years there, I would just talk to everybody, which is like, I'm not like super hyper social, but when I'm interested in something, you know, I could just talk nonstop. But yeah, so then I was like, you could like honestly build anything, you know, if you collaborate with the right people, you know, architecture department, you could like literally build buildings, fashion department, you know, you could just, you know, create like clothing lines and that type of thing. Or product design people, they build everything and anything, you know. They could build like lamps, they could build benches, they could build like anything, literally anything. It's wild. And like even send it out to mass produce. So I mean, so I started to leverage some connections and just trying to like think in that way of collaborative. And I don't know, we made some cool stuff at the end of like my last year there, you know. I kind of like made some furniture, messed with like different materials like gold and like some sculpture stuff, and just trying to incorporate my drawings in different formats, you know, rather than paper on canvas. And then after that was in 2019 when I had graduated, and then after that I was kind of working like at ad agencies and that type of thing, you know what I mean, still trying to like be independent. So I was like on the freelance route, because like I don't know, I don't know, working for people isn't my thing, you know. I'd rather work with them. Yeah. And so I was trying to stay independent, and then like COVID hit, you know, and that mixed stuff up, which was kind of nice, honestly, for me. That was probably like my peak, because I was just like painting all day long, and it was so great, you know.
Yeah.
And it was just like the government would just like throw some money our way every now and then. So like, oh, this will cover rent or whatever. And then so just like painting all day long, and just like I got a lot of paintings done, and it was pretty meditative or whatever, like pretty peaceful. But yeah, that led to the plants and that type of thing, and focusing on interior settings since I was spending so much time indoors. And then, you know, like painting like kind of personified furniture, and then that led to like house plants and just like different objects. And then I like hyper focused on house plants when like NFTs came around.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's kind of close to where we're at today. But not the whole story, but pretty detailed.
So that's where the creation for Mellow Park came from, basically, the inspiration for it?
Yeah, so originally it was Plant Swap. And Plant Swap was a series of 550 plants. And the way I started that, you know, I started like studying DeFi while I was like painting and stuff, and different like finance stuff that I had never really like learned or like spent time learning before. And then I was like landing on NFTs, and then I saw those popping up like in 2019 or so, and then still kept my eye on it, but I didn't get started and figuring out OpenSea, because I mean certain tools weren't available. You had to have all this like dev skills and stuff, you know, so kind of like obstacle to overcome. And so yeah, when 2021 came around, I was finally like, okay, go like get this, like, I don't know, make these plants, you know. And so I just like started drawing on paper without even like knowing dev skills or nothing. So I drew out like hundreds of them and then digitized them. So I have those original drawings still, like over 500 of them. Yeah, I got to do something with them eventually, like maybe a gallery show or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, and then
it'd be cool to see the digital one next to the actual drawing. Just kind of see.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like it's a matter of just like boosting the value behind the actual NFTs first and get people more excited, you know, because there's certain people. It's a small collective of group who are really stoked on the plants, and it's like people I've known for like a couple of years now, which is pretty special, I think. But yeah, so we had these plants, and there's no context really behind them, and I was just really like determined to figure out like a story, a narrative, something to build, and just I don't know, to branch out. And then so that's where I started thinking of like the environment side of things, and like creating like landscapes and stuff, and communities and places for people to like from other communities come thrive in. So I settled on this idea of like designing a park, and then being like a communal space that everyone could come through, and then like tied well with like plants and that type of thing, and just like the natural world. So yeah, and then I was like kind of thinking through like what kind of park, what kind of environment do I want to be spending a lot of time in. I want to spend time in like a cool, a chill, like a mellow park. So that was the name we rolled with. And yeah, so then we started introducing all these other characters, like nature-based characters, like based off of clouds or other flowers, or like some weird looking creatures and mushrooms, little bears, that type of thing. So I mean, not strictly plants, because that felt limiting in itself. And I don't know, maybe you guys feel the same way with ants at this point, been like hyper focused on ants, and then trying to think about maybe the surrounding landscape of an ant. I don't know if you guys have an ant hill in your ecosystem, or like dirt patches or something, but just opportunities to expand beyond, that's rad. Yeah, that's exciting. Even like bringing you guys into the park somehow would be cool. You know what I mean? Build an ant hill in the park or something.
That makes sense.
But yeah, so it's kind of an idea. The mellow park is like an idea to really grow, and it's like you can take it anywhere, which is like even designed so like, I don't know, I felt like there was other projects in me, other ideas.
Sure.
And then so that's where we kind of got to Sky City as well. We just like looked up from there, so there's some overlap with the characters.
Yeah.
And Sky City lives right above Mellow Park,
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if that helps, or if that was too, I don't know, crazy, or I don't know.
No, that was good.
No, that's perfect.
It brings a few questions to mind.
Yeah.
Miguel, any initial questions?
Well, I just wanted to know more about like the whole NFT creation. Like, how did you? Because we met through Bueno. I remember we spoke briefly there. So I just want to know how you ended up there. You know what I mean?
At Bueno.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that was like, it took a while, and it was me kind of being hard-headed for not like working with them sooner, because I had seen their tools and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is exciting, but I thought they were too big. Like, I thought they were too corporate for some reason, and I wanted to work with like kind of like a small business feel or whatever, or like kind of something that felt more local, which is funny because then I started working with these guys who are based in Germany, who are like I mean, the NFT space, it doesn't matter your location or whatever, but,
right?
Yeah.
But they were like very at the startup stage, and I bought their pass, and then we kind of worked together and collaborated and spoke on the daily basis. That was cool, but then they ended up kind of like rugging or like splitting up, you know what I mean? Just kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
And then so I'm like, okay, let's just roll with Bueno. And yeah, to my surprise, they're much more like down to earth and like kind of like small town feel, kind of, like really cool people. Even culturally, we kind of connect, you know what I mean? A lot of them being like Latino and stuff. Like,
yeah, I agree.
And which is rad to see, because it's like I've heard like Mexico City, has a super like really good design scene and like art scene, and they do all these like.
It's true.
Yeah, I just haven't been myself. My cousin, she lived out there for a while, and I meant to visit her, but I didn't make it. But some of their team members are based out there. I think Pablo Stanley, right? He's from Mexico City.
I think he's from Spain.
Oh, is he from Spain?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Honestly.
Yeah, but either way, it was cool. And even their tools, it's like once you're messing with them, it feels very like, user friendly or whatever. Like UI UX is really good, and it's like reminds me a little bit of Apple, honestly.
Yeah,
and,
it's very smooth.
Yeah, very simplified and like easy to use, friendly looking. And then he did work in Silicon Valley, which is like makes total sense to me,
Yeah.
And doing his own thing. But yeah, ever since I made the decision to hop over there, they've been really like friendly and stuff. Like they just emailed me this morning too, something about some microverse stuff. I don't know if they got to you guys.
Yeah.
But,
so we were part of that microverse thing too. Like they're gonna release it now in July, I think it is. I was yesterday. They were talking about it.
Yeah.
So I played around with it a little bit, not much, because there's still so much for us to do within our ecosystem.
Right.
And I didn't want to dab too much into that yet and put too much time to it, since we still have so much going.
Yeah, I feel that.
And the other side of things, but it looks really promising. And that spaces that I was in yesterday, it was all about Latinos being in the space too. And Buena was there talking, and they were like really, like, it was very down to earth, very informative. Like, I didn't know there were so many Latinos in the space, so that was pretty cool to see too.
Oh wow. Yeah, that was something I didn't even like spend time thinking about. Really, I'm like, oh wow, that is true. Like, there's a lot of Latinos out there, but which is really rad, you know, honestly, because like in some of the design scene or whatever, like sometimes there isn't representation, or sometimes they try to make it like I don't know, like I'm proud of like my roots and culture and stuff, but sometimes when they try to make it too Latino,
much,
or they like, you know what I mean, you exaggerate the Mexican part behind it or whatever, the Latino part behind it, and you try to do all these like Mayan looking stuff, you know, that's like not really my thing. Like I like looking at it, but as far as making it, you know, it's not my favorite. But yeah, I don't know. But Bueno, you know, they take a different route and stuff, even with their name, even with some of their stuff, you know. But they're rad people. I'm really, really glad we connected, you know.
Yeah, same, likewise too. So who are your biggest artistic influences?
Yeah,
if any.
Depends. Yeah, it's kind of everybody, and at the same, okay, so it's like, it's kind of like I try to look at things like, what are people responding to, you know, even if I don't like them necessarily. I'm like, why do people like certain things, or why do people like certain people, or why do I like people, or why don't I like this person, you know. I try to analyze everything. But and one of the reasons I brought up Cause earlier, you know, it is kind of cringy, I guess, depending who you're talking to, you know, because he's so like mainstream and out there. But you know, some of the connections he's made and some of the industries he's tapped into at a like very early age, you know, that was really interesting to me, and knowing his history and just how far, like, even his single connection with like Pharrell took him, you know, like painting like, I don't know, like inside of they had an installation or a record like album release or something like that, and like Cause painted a wall for him, and that led to something else, and led to something else, led to meeting someone else, and finished to like Nigo from Bape, and like, I don't know, selling paintings for millions of dollars at Sotheby's and that type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cause, and just like his work ethic and being able to like kind of create derivatives, you know what I mean? And that kind of opened my mind up to like tapping into culture in a certain way, and incorporating into your work, and not feeling like you're copying necessarily, you know what I mean? Because I was really against that for like years and years, and I would kind of hate on people for like, didn't feel like original ideas, you know. But it's kind of like I came to terms with it being like kind of like conversation with culture, you know, when you like incorporate certain things into your artwork and that type of stuff. So yeah, but I kind of, honestly, I'm looking at everything, like even outside of just visual arts, you know. Like I said, like, I don't know, like even like architecture stuff, or like product design stuff, or I don't know, even like, yeah, obviously like Walt Disney history and stuff like that, and even ways he's been able to delegate like the majority of everything, and like, but still create a universe. It's really, really like interesting to me, especially considering like, you know, having to do everything for Mellow Park, kind of being like a single man team, you know, and it's pretty hectic. And it's like, now I'm kind of trying to think of ways I could delegate, and like even looking at, you know, it's a little controversial, but like some AI stuff, and trying to like delegate it that way.
No, I like it.
Yeah, because it's very like, you know, you could do a lot, you know, and it's like some people hate on it because it's like you're taking the human element out of it supposedly, but it's about like finessing it and just like making it your own, you know, and just like using it as a starting point. But yeah, so I'm all over the place. Like, I don't know, with emerging tech stuff, or even just like deep down in like like art history stuff, you know. I used to study like, or redraw like Leonardo da Vinci stuff like crazy. Like, that's how I really started to learn how to draw.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then like, yeah, so I'm all over the place. I don't even know if that answered your question at all, but my mind's just looking at everything, even just stuff that isn't considered artwork, you know, even just like, yeah.
So do you feel that your style has changed over time just because you're just all over the place?
Yeah, definitely. And it's kind of nice because it's like, with Mellow Park, building an ecosystem and that type of thing, you can look at certain things, you know, like I just seen a leaf fall off of this tree, and it's just like, if I was to incorporate that in an animation for Mellow Park or something, or personify it somehow, you know, you could do that and use that for like promotional content, or like even an addition, you know. But yeah, it's definitely changed, and it's just like, I think the thing that ties together all my work is just kind of like adding life to it, you know. And a lot of the time that is in the form of just like throwing some eyeballs on like something, or like giving it some arms, or personifying it in some way, or having like, you know, something look like it's sitting down but it's just like an object or something. Just human qualities and elements, and I think that's going to be the, you know, be the thing that differentiates a lot of people in these like coming years, you know, as like the technology increases and improves and everybody can make anything, you know.
Yeah, it's funny you said the animating thing just now, because when you said Walt Disney, in my head I was like, oh, I could totally see Mellow Park being animated, right? The fluidity within your art, right? It's not such straight lines and structured and rigid. It already has some like sense of motion to it, so I could totally see those objects being animated. And then you mentioned the leaf falling, and I was like, oh yeah, I can see it all coming together already.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, I designed it to kind of like have the elements be like of a TV show, you know, like to have all the ingredients we need for a TV show. And yeah, so it's like a matter of just like partnering with the right person or something, you know, or even like me finding out a way to get these animated, create shorts and stuff.
Maybe some AI can animate them.
You know, I've been looking into that. Yeah, and it's just this super like, so I like the hand-drawn frame-by-frame look, you know, personally.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So it's kind of hard to, I don't know, get the technique that I like, you know, because it's pretty chunky still. And it's like some of the stuff needs to get worked out. Or maybe I just need to pay for the right program or something. I just haven't found it yet. But
yeah.
I've been definitely searching too for animation stuff.
For animation stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
I try to dab into everything.
Stuff. Yeah, do you?
Yeah.
That's rad.
What does do you feel like art helps you in any other areas of your life?
Yeah, I guess just like the way I look at the world, you know what I mean? And just like makes you look at things, I guess, a little extra longer, or just like makes you look or consider the structure of certain elements and that type of stuff. But at the same time, it also is like, I don't know, there's like other avenues, you know, you could take as far as like how you want to make a living, you know? And sometimes it's like the art kind of like could hold me back in certain ways, but it's kind of like the way I'd rather be spending my time, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, taking it minute by minute and just like how you spend your days, you know what I mean? It's like, it's the way I want to be living.
Do you have like a favorite time to create, or you just go to like a park and just sit down and start drawing, or you just do it at home early in the morning, or how do you do it?
So I'd say the like deep hours of the night, that's like
really
when it's really nice. Like, it's pretty crazy. It's like, so you work like after midnight and then all the way up to like 4 or like 5 in the morning, which I don't try to do too often because it does take a lot out of you. But it's like, it's pretty crazy, like those hours of the day. It's like everything's so quiet, you know what I mean? Like, even digitally, it feels like not a lot of activity like on the internet to distract me. And like the focus is usually like really like you're in there, you know, even like no cars driving by or no like birds out there, nothing. It's like super calm and quiet, and you're just in your head. And but yeah, it takes a lot out of you though. It's like, I don't like highly recommend it, and it's pretty crazy. But yeah, those are the hours I really like. But other than that, you know, I work at all hours of the day.
You had said something earlier about not wanting to work for other people. I'm curious what it's like, maybe not when you're working for someone, but when you're working with someone in these partnerships that you've described, whether it's Sky City or the German organization that you mentioned. How does that work for you as the artist? Are you waiting for direction from them, or are you just kind of saying, hey, this is what it is?
Yeah, so the way I differentiate that is like, you know, so I worked like for like ad agencies and that type of thing before, or, you know, you do jobs for people, but it's really like them commanding you and like kind of telling you what to do. And it's just kind of like, people could be demeaning at times, or like have like a certain like ego, you know what I mean? When they feel like, oh, you've paid for this person, and just like the idea of someone owning me, I've never liked that. And like, I don't know, that's like, I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts on that, but it's all good. So the way I differentiate like working with people, it's like if we're both putting in work and like want to achieve like the same goal, you know what I mean? And like you could see them putting in like, even if it's not the same amount of work as you, it's like they want to build something together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you both kind of, you know, share the benefits of it if it does work out, and if it doesn't, then you both kind of, you know, it both kind of didn't work out for both of you, and it's all good. But yeah, equity is like one thing that I really want to emphasize with my work alone, I guess, you know, because you see stuff take off or whatever, and it's like if you don't have like ownership or a part of it, you know, it really hurts and it kind of sucks, and then you're like thinking about all these what ifs, that type of thing. And yeah, but at the same time, if it's a project I don't really like, I guess kind of don't care about, you know, but I kind of need some quick cash or something, then yeah, I'll work on this project real quick and like get it done or whatever, maybe delegate it elsewhere. But yeah, and even like lately I've been doing a lot of like merchandising stuff, like screen printing, embroidery and stuff. And even those projects, like even though it's like more of a collaborative process with a lot of the like people I've been working with and stuff, it's like figuring out the right techniques that they want to like, you know, like put on their garments and stuff, and just like right print methods and design sometimes. So it's nice, it's a collaborative effort, but in that case it's like you're technically working for them,
right?
But it's still like a collaborative process, so it's kind of like a case by case. But yeah, I think the equity is the big differentiator for me.
Let me ask you a question. What do you feel are your least favorite parts of the NFT world?
You know, I think it goes beyond the NFT world, but just like probably society and culture in general. But some of these hype cycles and the way you're able to like manufacture those, I think that's pretty could bum you out if you think about it too often. You know, thinking about the people who have the capital behind themselves to really like amplify themselves in the proper way, or to like really get in front of like the proper audience that they need. You know, sometimes it can be real difficult doing that organically, and it does happen organically, but it's just like really tough. And it's just, I don't know, learning certain things about how like the entertainment industry works and that type of thing, and just all the money that they pour in that just to make people believe that they like something, even if you don't like really like it, but you're seeing like 20 or 30 of the people that you personally know like it, you know what I mean? It's pretty gnarly, and it kind of like shifts your perspective on things. And it's just like, it's almost like it's easy to program people if you have the resources behind you to do so. And like seeing that like firsthand, it's pretty gnarly. And it's like, but that's one thing that's also like overlaps in the NFT world, you know what I mean? Like people believe they like something. Like, I mean, with the Bored Apes, like so many people claim to love them, but I mean, if you were to just take them and like look at them on your own and just have no context behind it, they're pretty ugly. And what they stand for, it's like, you know, they stand for hype, and that's like, I don't know. But then there's other things that are more tasteful that are hype driven, you know, like I do like some of the creative direction behind like Supreme and that type of thing, and what they stand for in their history. So it depends, you know what I mean? But yeah, being able to kind of this manufactured hype, that's kind of what I don't like. NFT world and culture.
So that kind of leads to my next question for you. Like, what would be your dream project?
Dream project, I think it'd be like a series of projects, and it'd be like a series of projects under like the Mellow Park umbrella, or under the Plant Swap umbrella, being able to like collaborate with some like bigger partners and put out different projects together, and being able to do that on like a sustainable and consistent basis, you know? So I mean, so that could be like a number of people, honestly. And it's just like, I don't really like idolize, or like, there's no one at the top of the list for me, really. I think it's just a series of people. And it's once you find out these families, you know, you got to get introduced to, like if you're under the Nike umbrella and all the companies they own, you know, then you have access to all those companies. Or even if you get into under the like LVMH umbrella, and then you have all access to those like luxury brands, you know what I mean? Like you're in there with Dior, or you're in there with like Louis V and all that, you know what I mean? Chanel. And then that goes back to kind of the manufactured hype, you know, with some of these partners. And then you'll see people bounce back and forth once you really see how things work. And so I think it's getting under the right umbrella and just like making the right partnerships. But probably the LVMH would be like top tier, honestly. Like, yeah, the high fashion.
Yeah, for sure.
They got unlimited budgets. It's gnarly.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want.
That's true.
Yeah, and that was one thing that like Virgil Abloh, like I studied him closely. But that's what he would say. He was like, the first advice he got when he was the creative director of Louis Vuitton was like, just be careful because they'll say yes to everything, and you could like literally do anything you want, and it's like that could get dangerous. And it's like, yeah.
It's an interesting perspective on that amount of freedom.
Yeah, that amount of freedom, definitely.
So how do you plan? Do you plan to sell your work through OpenSea only and through Bueno, or do you use other platforms?
You know, so primary sales through Bueno and stuff, and like OpenSea, it exists. You know, it's there, and it's. I've taken a couple weeks to kind of like really analyze like Mellow Park's place in the market and stuff, and trying to get just different resources to grow elsewhere beyond the NFT market. But I want the OpenSea to be kind of like that's where our roots are. You know what I mean? Like that's where like the value will get driven to like on its own organically, I hope. And as we do other things beyond, you know what I mean? Like trying to grow a YouTube channel and trying to do all these things, you know what I mean? And like these comic strips that I've been neglecting, but these different things, you know, these different like storytelling avenues that I want everything to go back to like OpenSea, really. Yeah. But even with the microverse stuff through Bueno, it's like, because it's talking about like creating mint generators and stuff within your plot of land or whatever. And I'm kind of excited for that, honestly. Like I have to make time for it, but for having them being able to like create the microverse for me, you know, I just send them off the assets. I'm really excited about that. And because I mean, I've been designing kind of like a digital space, a digital park, you know, for a while now. So I have it all like in my head. I have all the trees like designed. I have all the like, shrubs. I have all the like different mushrooms and different like landmarks too. You know, we got like this bridge, and we have like Pepe's Pond in there. We got all these different things, you know, like all park elements. So it's like it's gonna be cool to see them all together. And being able to like create like some type of mint generator through that process, I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be pretty cool. I think their microverse is gonna really be like a game changer for sure.
Yeah, I hope it blows up. You know, I seen them doing their advertising correctly for their asset generator for the NFT and stuff on different podcasts and that type of thing.
Yes.
Like I hope they're able to advertise it properly. You know what I mean, and get the right people on board and like. And it'd be cool to be like an early mover in that, you know what I mean, in their microverse.
Yeah, I'm curious what sort of value those will bring to holders and participants, because, you know, he released the microverse for Robato's holders, and I went in there a few times, especially when it first came out, but I don't go in there anymore. And, you know, so I wonder what can we as like the users and community come up with to say, hey, there's really a value. If you own the NFT, you have access to the microverse, and that gets you X, Y, or Z, right? Like I wonder what that is that we'll see created as more people get to experience that. Yeah.
And then that goes back to like trying to manufacture hype cycles and just like trying to like get people interested in things, you know what I mean? And one thing I did see, I was watching the demo right before we hopped on the call or whatever, is that they did have like a DJ booth and that type of thing. And just thinking about like some of the things Sky City has access to, and maybe like certain events, and thinking through like, you know, how Travis Scott was able to do with like Fortnite and stuff. And like maybe trying to do something like that in the microverse, maybe it was like a figure that we have access to or something could be cool, or a way to like create events to get people to show up. And even with us having access to like physical merchandise now, with like me like screen printing and like embroidery and these things, like even if it does like create like digital items, you know what I mean? Like you guys had a real good merch pack, you know what I mean? When you guys sent me that box, that was really, really well done. And that was cool. I was stoked on that. but incorporating some of that stuff into these digital experiences, similar to like where you go to a festival or something and then they have limited merch that's only available there, like different things like that, you know what I mean? Or maybe like opportunities to win them when you're there.
Yeah.
And like creating one like very like high ticket item that like really gets a lot of people's attention. Because I mean, even that's what Bored Ape did. They were giving away ETH, you know, for people to mint.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. It's like just bribe people, basically. You know what I mean? But just without calling it that.
Yeah, for sure. I think when Miguel first started playing with the microverse on Bueno, I think I mentioned it would be cool to be able to do like this show every week, only in the microverse. So you got to be there to see it live. You know, it'd be great if our audience was that big that there was enough demand for that. And then there's, you know, maybe a delay for it to get pushed out to the public, but you've got to be in the microverse to see it happening live and participate and be a part of the action. So to your point about those events, it'd be great if there was a way to do that, to create that unique opportunity of making it worth it to be in the verse.
Yeah, and there's definitely, it's like, I think about securing the right partnerships. You know, what if there's like a series of shows and you kind of bounce around, and then similar to you know how these big events or whatever, like a Coachella or something, they have different shows going on at the same time.
Right.
If it was like a series of like podcasts or something that you could hop into, or like, get different co-ops that you could like claim for, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's a matter of like digitizing like things we already know, like in the real world, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, there's a lot of opportunity. It's just like a lot of like moving parts that have to like all work like at the same time, you know what I mean? Have to work together, but it's tough. I mean, even people's outlook on the NFT space now, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's tough. Like, do you guys feel a change like in the market and stuff like that? How are you guys feeling?
I've got some like mixed feelings. You know, it's weird to see the Bored Ape floor drop so low, and I'd be curious, you know, to hear Miguel's thoughts on that and yours as well. But it also feels like there's so much happening that I care more about the things happening than one specific project, even if it's the leader dropping. I don't know that that's indicative of the space itself, but seeing these bigger companies get in and find ways to integrate it into real life things is the exciting thing to me, and that's going to continue happening more over time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Bored Ape being the leader, I think that them dropping, I don't think it's conducive to the rest of the industry. I think that we're also at a time now that is, you know, there's a fight right now between the credibility and the not so credible, right? So I think that once that credibility is back, we should see the market really go up more and people getting more into it and trying to figure out more about it and learning more about it. And that's honestly why we do what we do, right? The credibility part. But I think that there's so much like rug pulls. There's so much like just people trying to get in and out, people that are not artists, people that are just scamming. Like there's so much of that, and there's such an emphasis on that it hurts the industry. Even though like Kevin and I have met so many like artists and good people that are in the space, right? And they're very good advocates of the space. I feel like the bad part of the space kind of overshadows that part, if that makes sense. Right?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, that question of credibility, that's a good point. Even just like how people operate, you know, people are attracted to bad news.
Yeah.
It's,
exactly.
And it's like one of those things, like even like Verdroblo or like Heron Preston or like these like high-end designers, you know, who are like in fashion and stuff, who like are like masters at generating hype cycles. It's like their theory is to create something that's newsworthy, and luckily for them, they like to do it more in a positive light. But people take that same idea and like do it for the bad, you know, like even if it does, like if it is scamming or rug pulling a ton of people or like stealing people's money or doing whatever, like we've seen it all, like in the NFT space, you know, even like that dude like acting like a little kid, like a 13-year-old kid or something.
Oh yeah.
Like all that. And it's like, I don't know, it's a matter of creating something that's newsworthy, and like a lot of people, they take it on the bad approach, you know what I mean? It's definitely newsworthy because like everyone knows about it, but it's just like the kind of stuff that we don't really want people to know, you know?
Yeah.
I can't
But
think
like you
of
said,
too
people
many
gravitate to the
good
bad news.
things. Yeah, good things other than like just people generating a bunch of money. But I mean, like, and like these connections that people create, you know what I mean? Like I think those are really, really valuable. Like even international connections and stuff, you know, like even getting to know you guys and that type of thing. But that's not really newsworthy, unfortunately. Like people don't care about that unless it's like happening to them directly. And yeah, so I don't know, even like, because that's why a lot of projects came out trying to like do charitable donations and stuff, because they're trying to get like newsworthy in that sense and like trying to make them look good. But even that doesn't really work these days. It feels like, you know what I mean? Even if you're trying to do something good.
Yeah, like even us, we partner with One Tree Planted. So for us, like our V1 project, the ants, for every ant that we sell, we're planting one tree, right? And we try to promote that as much as we can, but it doesn't really make a difference. Like people don't really look at the good part of it, honestly.
Right. Yeah, no, I've seen that too with a different project also doing like that tree thing. And it like it would have made sense for us too with our concept, but kind of doesn't move the needle, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't like, and you don't really get to see the benefits or payoffs. Like if you were physically at a park planting stuff and like filming the process of like you planting the seeds, I think that would be a totally different thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's something we've talked about. Like, there's so much stuff because we actually met with them. We had a meeting with them. We talked about, Kevin and I talked about like having like a group where we can go somewhere and plant some trees and video record it live, you know, or like, I don't know, showcase it live or whatever the case might be. Like we've talked about that. It's just that for us, our audience is not big enough yet in the NFT buying space per se, right? Because we get a lot of views after the fact. Right, but then like we don't really get a lot of people that are minting the project, because I feel a lot of times too they don't feel like it's safe, right, or whatever the case might be. But if we did, like, it would be something to really think about, like a big group going out to like plant trees somewhere. That would be cool. You know, it would be cool for people to see that and how we're trying to help with deforestation in the world, but it's not something that is talked about. You know what I mean? So it's difficult for us to like get there.
Right. Yeah, no, I feel that definitely. Like, I don't know, getting people interested, that's that's tough, you know.
It's the hard part.
But trying to do good at the same time and trying to make your, I don't know, put your creative ideas out there too, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Honestly, with the NFT space, I'm a little stuck, if I'm being completely honest. Where it's like I see the potential and stuff, but at the same time, like the interest publicly isn't what it used to be, you know. And hopefully it comes back, and we need to be in the position that's ready, you know, when it does come back. And but these things that we've been creating that are special, it's like this IP, you know, like the way this is going to be living on YouTube,
right?
Which is nice, because that exists forever. And you guys got your brand, and like you could apply that to like whatever avenue, you know. Even if NFTs were to completely die, and like the people that you've met in the space, you know, they'll come with you, or they'll know about you at least.
Right, it's true.
And but yeah, it's just, I don't know, this equity in your IP, you know, and you could take the IP, because that's what we've all been doing really these past couple of years, is building IP. And it's like how can you apply IP, you know? And like that's what was so interesting, seeing like all these NFT projects go to the licensing expo recently in Las Vegas. And that was something I didn't know existed, but I was like, that makes total sense, because I would like always reference like Charlie Brown or Dr. Seuss, kind of like, you know what I mean? You see that like even in like TJ Maxx or like all these like Targets and stuff, and it's like just never really knowing how it worked. But for NFT projects, being interested in like, you know, even like Rebel Ants, like if you guys to partner with like a gardening tools, like I don't know, little like e-commerce store or something, and then you guys put your artwork on there, you know what I mean? That's another direction that Rebel Ants can go in, that lives on top of the NFTs, you know, it's always stays rooted as NFTs. And it's like creating layers to what you're doing and substance, you know, and meaning and purpose behind it. But I think that's where the space is going, honestly. Just like continue to build IP and just have the NFTs being the root of everything, you know, and being like the birthplace, really.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting you talk about like that public perception, because I feel like at the peak of the NFT craze, it was, you know, you had these extremes where you had like the celebrities paying $1 million, right? So what is that public perception to someone, that somebody paid $1 million for a JPEG? And then you see, you know, these stories of rug pulls and hacks and whatever else. And that kind of hurts the credibility on the other end as well. So I think, to your point, that more natural progression is probably what will keep the space alive. Is, it's a little more quiet now. So what are people doing to really push it? Because someone like me, someone like Miguel, maybe like you, it's like, we're obviously passionate about the space, but I'm not super involved in any other projects right now. I'm not actively buying NFTs, but I still listen to podcasts all day. I watch other YouTube videos all day because I'm obsessed with it, because it piques my interest. It's something I connect with. So maybe now, where that need is, that time for people that need to keep pushing their projects will find new ways, right? What do they say? Like, necessity is the mother of invention, or something like that. So maybe that's where we're at now, is that people are finding new ways, right? Look at the pudgy penguins, and now they're moving into the physical space, right, with their plushies on Amazon. And so, starting to creep out a little bit more from just those extremes of, hey, here's $1 million for a picture, and then it gets stolen.
Right. Hold on, I'm gonna plug in my phone. I'm stepping to my car right now. But
sure.
But yeah, no, I don't know. Keep speaking on the pudgies and stuff. Like, what's your guys' thoughts on them? And they've been making moves and like kind of, I don't know, building off of that philosophy of like being rooted on NFTs, but doing their own thing beyond.
Yeah, I think there was some news about them like yesterday, where the CEO turned down an offer for a mobile game. Let me see if I can pull that up real fast. Miguel, did you hear about that? That the CEO,
no, I didn't.
Let's see. Yeah, the CEO turned down, the CEO, Luca Netz, he turned down some crazy offer for partnership with a mobile game. And I don't remember where I saw that.
I tell you what, though, like if they turned it down, obviously they got a lot going on in the ecosystem. So I'm sure at some point or another, that's something that's probably in their plans. Although I've seen that Pudgy Penguins has a lot of, they've been doing a lot of animation lately. Like that's all I've seen so far in the last like couple of weeks, couple of months. Like they've been really going hard at animation.
Yeah. Let me find that article.
Wait, what is this? They turned down an offer for a mobile game?
Yeah, there's something like that. I'm seeing a tweet here. I can't pull up the tweet. 1 second. I'll try and get that.
Okay. Yeah, even the way they've been approaching it, it's I feel like they took Doodle's thing, but Doodle like overanalyzes their stuff, I think. Like they try to like be perfectionists. And where I see is like Pudgies, they're just go and they do it. Like even like with the animation stuff, it's not super like fine-tuned or perfect.
It's not,
some of the concepts are like heavily like recycled, and like, you know what I mean? You could see like where the inspiration came from and stuff like that. But they're doing it, and they're doing it like quantity, you know what I mean? Just like pumping it out. And that definitely is moving the needle, which is cool to see. Like I'm definitely rooting for them. Just
yeah, me too. I think that they're gonna do some good things in the future with the animation part. I think they're gonna move the space in the right direction. And like you said, I think that Doodles just feels too corporate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. And another part is like them being able to apply product behind their stuff. Like I know that's like where Luca came from or whatever, being able to run the e-com world or whatever really well at a high level. And I don't know, being able to apply that to Pudgies, because like you could get all this attention, but if you don't have a product behind it, then you're kind of just like spending resources, you know what I mean, without a return, which sometimes could benefit or be good, but it's tough to grow a business that way.
Yeah. So Aaron, last question. How do you define success as an artist?
I think being able to like control your time and just being able to kind of like navigate where you're going and what you're doing that day. And yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I'm trying to spend time and trying to like figure out how to structure my days and projects that I work on, where I could kind of spend time like with family and stuff and do what I need to do and do my deliverables for the day and just have it over with, or create systems, where you could like automate certain things. But success, it's like controlling your time for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just like in general, even like beyond being an artist, but control my time while being an artist. You know what I mean? That's for me, that's success.
Yeah, sure. That's a great answer, right? That, I mean, time is fleeting and precious. And so when you can control it, that's the ultimate goal, I think.
Yeah. What about you guys? What's you guys' on success? What's your thoughts?
I think maybe a combination of that and what you said earlier, like with Louis Vuitton just saying yes to anything. I want to be able to just say yes to whatever I want, whenever I want, right? Instead of being bound by, my current job or things like that, or money or time. If I can just say, you know what, that's interesting, I'm going for it. That's what I want to do. I want to dive head into whatever comes my way, whatever the day is.
Yeah, no, that's great. I really feel that.
Yeah, it's the same for me. I mean, it's exactly the same as Kevin said. It's just diving in and saying yes to pretty much everything. You know what I mean? I just want to dab into everything possible at this point. But I also want to find a balance.
Yeah. Where do you guys see Rebel Ants going? Like, do you want to stay strictly in the NFT space, or are you trying to branch out, or what's you guys' thoughts?
Kevin, you want to go first?
Yeah, I think there's still a lot to do in the NFT space or the crypto space, right? With just some of the technology. And with Miguel and I not being native programmers, we're looking for tools like Bueno to help us achieve those goals. And, Miguel and I have talked at length and like these big ideas for Rebel Ants, and, independent of whatever the mainstream thing is, right? The trends keep coming and going within the NFT space, but Miguel and I have kind of talked about this vision for a while. But this next iteration that we're working towards with the version 2, and then using AI storytelling to create like a battle every week, where the new V2 will be broken into like these gangs, like 20 different gangs, and then every week we'll feed the same prompt into like ChatGPT to say, hey, all these gangs got in a fight, who won? And we've tested it out, and it prints out like a cool, unique story every time. And so we want our holders to be, to have some leverage or some buy-in by holding different gang members and, rooting for their gang to win. So I want to create that like emotional connection still. And I think we can do that in the NFT space and create a unique experience every week versus just, hey, you buy the NFT and now it's in your wallet and you never think about it again. Whereas like, ooh, I got to tune in this week to Rebel Ants Radio, see if my ant is going to win the battle or whatever it is, right? So I think there's still a lot of storytelling to be done within the space, and using that as a platform to go bigger, right? Miguel's looking at animation things. I think there's a lot you could do with, a million ants, right? Like you could, there's no shortage of ants, and so I think there's a lot you could do with storytelling in that way, and it's kid friendly, approachable enough from the outside perspective to say, oh yeah, look, those are ants, right? Like nothing too abrasive about that. So I think it lends itself to stepping into a bigger audience.
Yeah, I think Kevin hit it right on, hit the nail right on the head. It's the same thing for me. Like, I do see us branching out more from the NFT space too, right? As far as like the animation part, the 3D rendering, all that kind of stuff. Including like merchandising and all that stuff, because like Kevin mentioned, and it's kind of kids friendly. There's a huge market there, right? But there's so many possibilities and so many ideas that go through my head every single day that it's just kind of impossible for us to do like everything that we really want to do or everything that I want to do, right? A lot of times I'm like doing things and things just popped in my head and I just like text Kevin like, hey, what do you think about this? And, oh, it's a great idea, but how do we put it into play? Like just yesterday I was thinking about how cool would it be to just have an app just for us for the storytelling, right? Where people could go in and actually store their NFTs and use them through the app, through the gangs to have the battles on a weekly basis, right? How cool would that be? But then that's a huge project, just creating an app and trying to be safe, because you're putting your NFTs in there to make sure that they're okay, that they're locked, etc. All that stuff it's huge. So is there stuff that we really want to venture into apart from the NFT space? Absolutely, yeah. But I still feel like we do have a lot to do within what's there now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. In my head, it goes to like some of the tools that we've had for years and that we are used to. You know what I mean? Like you can do the storytelling thing through email, or even through like text message, where that could be like a recurring thing or whatever that tells a story, and then you put a call to action there for whatever you're trying to put out, whether it's some merchandise that's relevant to the story or digital products or something. But yeah, I don't know, these tools that are already existing, you know what I mean? I like them, like emails, like like I don't know, the return on emails and stuff, and it feels like you're talking directly with the people and stuff. That's always really good.
Yeah.
And, even text message, you know, I mean, you got to be smart with the text, but I don't know, some of those tools for storytelling, that's I'm really interested in. That's where my head goes when you're describing your ideas on generating these stories, you know, on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And yeah, but trying to autonomize some of these things. I like how you guys are incorporating AI though. That's really interesting. Wish I'd ask more on that.
Yeah, we're trying to not, you know, hand over the creative process, but integrate it into it instead.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it's like, I don't know, it's relying on your stories and stuff like that, on your IP that you already built, and just AI is just a tool within that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it creates that randomness that we don't need to program instead, because you know, the chat GPT or whatever it is just unbiased. So we just say, hey, here's 20 groups, pick a random winner, and then it's totally out of our hands, right? No one needs to question, are we, you know, influencing the outcome?
Right.
Yeah,
No, definitely.
Well, we are at the top of the hour. Aaron, thank you so much for your time again. It was nice to see the park in the background as well and get a view of beautiful LA. Where can people find you? What do you want them to do?
Yeah, I mean, I guess go on Twitter. That's most stuff.
Perfect.
Well, you know what? I've been trying to grow this YouTube channel where it's just like drawing and painting, and it's kind of more like from my perspective or whatever. And then it's just like, you know, some longer videos, just drawing pen on paper, and it's a lot of YouTube shorts with like painting on canvas and that type of thing. But that's at the same Twitter handle, so like @sunnygreen_.
Nice. We'll put the link in the description and the comments for the podcast as well. So
yeah.
I want to check it out. I haven't seen your YouTube channel yet, so I want to check it out.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. Yeah.
Yeah, the goal is to kind of like have it as like background, you know what I mean? Just like something to just chill and just like, just drawing plants, and like probably gonna be drawing a lot of Mellow Park elements and like stuff like that, you know, growing that way. But YouTube, that's where it's at, I feel.
Yeah,
agree.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sounds good.
But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for the invite. It's always good talking to you guys. Thanks for making the time for me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. We'll have to get you back in soon whenever the next project is happening, or you want to stop in and give us an update. We'd love to have you back on. And in the meantime, our show can be found on YouTube. And so if you're watching, please smash that like button, subscribe. You can listen on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Google Podcast, Amazon Podcasts, all that. We're everywhere. So give us a listen there, and we hope that you will join us again. We are going to skip this Sunday because we're recording now, so we'll be back again the following Sunday. And head over to rebelants.io for all the latest. So thank you all very much, and have a great day. Miguel, Aaron, be well. Talk to you later.
Cool.
Have a great day, guys.
All right, take care. See ya.